Welcome back. Every Monday here on Perspective, we delve into matters national or affecting the country. And today, I'm privileged to be hosting two gentlemen. We'll be delving into the matter state of the nation in various angles in terms of the ongoing exercise on Huduma number, the state of the nation in terms of the politics, and more so where the church, politics and governance all meet center stage. On my immediate left, we have George Kamunya, who is the Bishop of Oasis of Grace Church. And on my extreme left, we have Job Ndege, who is our resident governance expert. Karibuni, gentlemen.
Pleasure.
And thanks for making time. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter too. We've really enjoyed Easter.
Yes.
There was a lot of chicken.
Yes.
And goats have been slaughtered.
Yeah, and rains.
And
At least we have rains now.
Come.
Yes.
And I believe God was waiting for us to celebrate Easter.
Yes.
With such humble, broken spirit.
Yes.
So that He can bring the rains.
Yes.
That's what I can say.
Yeah, happy Easter too, and it's my pleasure to be here tonight at the end of the Easter period. I know Easter is very important for Christians and generally for everyone who loves religion.
Yes.
Yes, so I'm happy. It's raining, and let's hope for more rain so that we don't have this drought that has been predicted to come through the country.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Straight into perspective and the state of the nation, and more so now we have Bishop. There have been so many instances where people have turned against each other, and more so people who used to love one another, and those are ending tragically. We have so many cases right now in courts, and I can tell you so many people. Even more so, there are others which are not reported on television or on radio. What is happening?
Actually, the majority are the ones that are not reported.
Yes.
Because personally, in my office as a bishop, I receive so many cases almost every day. And somebody would come and say, my husband came last night and said, kamiti haikuumbiwa nugu, iliumbiwa binadamu, so I must do something here. And they end up negotiating. But you see, once somebody has spoken something, it cannot easily be just rubbished off. Because when a mind to kill or a mind to harm someone else comes in, I usually tell people it will still come back again. So what I usually advise people is that before you get into a relationship with someone, it is good to check somebody's temperaments. And it is good to know how far can this person go in anger. So it's good to check. Don't just love blindly. Because once you love blindly, you will end up loving the wrong person. Secondly, it is also good to check the history of that person's family. Like in the old days, I used to be told by my grandmother that there are some certain families that people are told you should not marry from this family. Because they have cases of murder, they have cases of madness, they have cases of witchcraft, and there are some things that occurs in the family at some time. And but now when we meet in town, you fall in love. Some people get married because of frustration, especially some ladies. If you can't meet your rent, you have a child here, you cannot be able to take care of your child. A guy has appeared. A guy is also desperate to have someone to cook for him. But you don't know how this guy behaves. Yes. You don't know what is in life of this man. And at times, and this is what I should tell people, even in church when I counsel them, I tell them, some of the people you see them, they are just depressed people walking on the streets. All right? And this depression needs someone to come and remove it. How does the depression come? It comes when you have a need that cannot be met. Like there are some people who go through depression because maybe your wife ran away. And when she comes back, you feel you are relieved, but you're not relieved. Because that vacuum that came up has not been filled. And what I usually tell people is that be very careful whom you are dating. Be very careful how they talk even in their family. There are some people who say in their family, me killing someone is not a thing. I can do it, even if he has never done it. But once you have spoken it, I would like you to know that one day he will do it. Like another case I was handling, a lady came back at home. She met her husband sitting at the sitting room. And the guy all of a sudden said, why are you late? Said, no, but I called you. I told you I'm going to be late. It is raining. It was flooding all over. I could not come on time. He said, then, since you have come late, tell me the day you would want to be buried. Okay. And the lady thought it's a joke. Kumbe, the guy had a panga here. He just took a panga and said, I told you to tell me the date you want to be buried. And the lady said, give me 14 days from today. So then I'll kill you in 7 days' time. And he put the panga there. Go and cook for me. And he went on, cooked for him, still served him, went to bed with him, and the following day woke up, prepared food for him and for the children, and she stayed. Then on the sixth day, she shared with a friend. And the friend told her, no, let's go and see Bishop Kamunya, he might advise us. And she came, I told her, you are waiting for 14 days to come so that you will be buried. You must be a fool. You can't stay there.
It's time to get out.
Yeah, I love this man. This is the only man I know in all my youth. He is the father of my children. What will my children say? What will your children say when you're already buried? Okay. No, so I told her the best thing to do, first of all, go to your chief, report the matter, call the parents, report the matter, alert everybody concerned over that kind of a threat. Let him deny, but at the back of his mind, he will know that the authorities and the villagers are watching him. Okay. And that is how she was able to get out of that family for some time. And then after that, the guy went back, they reconciled, but what we advise them, live separately. Raise the children, but live separately. Because life is more important than marriage.
At least, Ndege, that's a happy ending. Some have been really pushed, and some cases we hear brought about by the financial constraint. Is it the case?
Yes, I think three perspectives. There are a lot of pressures of life. The current situation we are in, too much pressure. Starting from when you are young, yes. Pressure of education. Yeah, we all know people have been talking about the curriculum. Yeah, the existing 844 curriculum is extremely heavy on children. Pressure of space to even ventilate. When I was growing up, I was lucky. You'll get fields to go play your soccer, fields to go do some of these small sports that people do. Nowadays, because of pressure of even having social spaces, you find that children don't even have that opportunity to even go release their pressure. Because as you carry on through a day, you get pressure on the mind. And this can only be released by some activities, which, like I said, education has been an issue, social spaces has been an issue to release that. And then, as you grow older, the economic pressures that people face, you know that you have to fend for your family, you have to fend for people around you. And so oftentimes you find that because of the state in which we are in, we are growing as an economy, yes, but we face some challenges, some period in the past where actually our economy was not growing as fast as our needs as human beings in this country. So that also gives people pressure. And then it's a mind. It's a mind issue. Some people could be sick on the mind because depression is actually a mind issue. And when you do get sick, we have lack of enough experts to teach us. In fact, in this country, mind disease largely has been left to the church to deal with. How many psychiatrists do we have in any hospital in this country? How many psychologists do you have? In fact, you can count the psychiatrists in this country. There are few. We know them, Dr. Njue, Dr. I forgot the guy's name. There are very few anyway. And seeing them requires a lot of money. Who can afford seeing these experts? Visiting any of these doctors costs you a lot of money. You will expect that in a situation where this is now perverse and it's become an issue, the church itself cannot deal with it, or the church or the mosque or the temples cannot deal with it. Let's have other social government-led institutions, hospitals, equipped with people who can help us deal with mind disease. Now, if that does not come in, then we are in a problem.
But I believe the government should set also some funds aside. The way they set funds for political rallies and for that. They should also budget and maybe pass it. The parliamentary should pass it a law whereby there is an institution that is set to deal with mind problems in Kenya.
For instance, currently there is the Madare institution. It's only one. Imagine, how can one institution serve 40 million?
45 million
But
people.
you see, Madare deals with mad people, not with people who are who need a psychiatrist
Exactly, have a mind issue, which may not be madness.
Which may not be madness.
Yeah,
because we have bipolar people, they are all over.
Yes.
They have bipolar case. They are all over, but you cannot know. Unless someone start talking, you know this one is having a problem.
Okay, perhaps away from that, I also happen to travel over the Easter holiday, and still the myth of Huduma number is still very, very live. And I remember there's still some people believing the number has any connotations with the biblical one, number. The first time, I remember when the Huduma number registration started, we had a sit down.
Yes.
And we just touched a few on the issues that the Huduma number was going to sort.
Yes.
But to this moment in time, there are still some people still in that myth.
Yes, I think the biggest issue had been privacy, which was understandable for most people because Kenya does not still have a privacy data law properly. But beyond that, we do have an ID number. I have an ID number. All adults already have an ID number. I have an SSS number if I'm employed or working, or if I opt to join that pension. I have an NHIF number. I have a driving license number. All these are numbers, which if really one wanted to get them, they'll get them. So what is the problem having these 5 numbers linked into one? Because that's really what the Huduma number is doing. What is really the problem? People who are opposing the number, I think they have not really looked deeply into the issue. It's important to have one number that links you socially to government services. Because there's no need of having 5 databases. If you look at now the technology of doing that, there's no need of having 5 databases, or 6 or 7, trying to identify who you are. There'll be mismatches, there'll be issues, and there'll be inaccuracies. If we have one number that identifies you, basically from birth, there's no reason why when a child is born, at the point of giving them that birth certificate, they get a number. And that number will be the number that will go on through their entire life in this country till when one dies. And then you get marked in the system that now Job Ndege is dead. So all these issues have been there because of lack of information. It's very important. It gives us an opportunity now to stem all these forgeries. In this country, you have known issues where someone goes to River Road or somewhere and gets some certificate. Now, if there was a linkage, that certificate will not be valid because if I'm, for instance, get a birth certificate, I'll list there that my father is called so-and-so and my mother is called so-and-so. Now, if there's a database checking, it's very likely that it will be found that the mother written there or the father written there is not really the true case of who my parents are. And if, for instance, you're going for any of the other documents, be it a passport, the same thing, you're required to have a birth certificate. If that birth certificate was fraudulently obtained, then a linked system would be very easy to check that out and say, no, this is not correct.
I believe the problem was...
Perhaps on what you were talking about, is there, and before we go to the church part of it, is there a way perhaps the government can demystify the number in terms of perhaps civic education? Because there are still days, and the numbers, the last time I checked, there was a few millions people had.
No, in fact, it's doing quite well, despite the resistance that people are getting from those who say it is a 666 and those who say some of their data will be not safe. It's simple. I think if I was given the opportunity to talk to the Wananchi about this number, I have an ID number. What's the difference between me having an ID number and having a Huduma number? I have a driving license number. What's the difference between me having that and the Huduma number?
We are on Perspective here on Channel 1 News. Remember, you can get in touch with us via our Twitter handle, which is at KBC Channel 1 News. You can get interactive with us. We value your feedback through our Facebook fan page, which is at KBC Channel 1. Remember, my Twitter handle is at Ben Troy Njue. We're talking about the state of the nation, and more so we're going to delve into the issue of the church and governance. Years back, I remember the church was very vocal on matters governance. We remember so many people of the cloth were delving into the matters of the governance of the state, and that is what I want us to get into right now. Switching gears to sorry to cut you short, but the number, you are a man of the cloth. Have you noticed any issues with the Huduma number and the biblical number?
Yeah, people are coming to us asking us questions about the Huduma number. Yes. And some of them are actually questioning why they are being forced to get it. There was an issue before whereby they were saying that they must also get your DNA so that they'll have to know your parental life and everything. And some of them started saying that they are going to use our DNA, they are going to do whatever. And so many things. But we had to make them understand that when you travel to places like USA, there is a social security number which you get, which helps you. It helps the government know how many people they have, where they are working, how secure they are, and they are able to protect the citizens.
And also plan.
Yes. And also plan. Yes. And this is what we are telling the people, that the Huduma number is just like a social security number, which you get in US and other places. And it is just going to simplify everything about you, about your school, about your NSF, NHIF, NSSF, birth certificate, and all that. You are just putting them one in one number. Then one of them came and asked me the other day, are they also going to get to my bank details? Is this a way of now getting to all my documents and getting to my money? And I told them no, because there is you as a person. It's not a must you put your money in the bank. You can even put your money in your phone, and the government will still get you.
Yes.
But what you need to understand is that the government is not actually so much after your personal life.
Yes.
It is after understanding and knowing how many citizens we have,
yes,
because of foreigners who have come to this country. Some have bribed their way and have gotten IDs, and after they have messed our people, especially foreigners from other countries, which I'm not going to mention, they come and take our girls, impregnate them, and then they get involved in drugs. And after they have messed our children, our girls, they have left children here, they have run away. And they have left children suffering and our girls suffering. Now, to simplify all this and to make things straight, we need to know how many foreigners we have in this country and what they are doing. How many citizens we have in this country and what they are doing. So that even in job creation, everybody will be safe and the government will be able to provide services for them. And this is my stake, and this is what I'm telling them. Go for it. Go for it so that you will also be safe.
Yeah. Okay. Perhaps we can switch gears to religion and governance. I remember a couple of years back, we had people like Reverend Njue who are very vocal. Even people like Ndege Mwananzeki, we had Alexander Muge, we even had Father Kaiser. But in relations to those days and now, a little bit there has been some quiet and silence.
Yeah, the church has gone missing in action, a wall in military terms. The church is not really doing what it's supposed to do in terms of being a moral compass for the rest of the country. You know, when a government goes rogue, or when a people go astray, you expect the church, and the church in this case may mean the mosque, may mean the Hindu temple, may mean all those religious bodies, to be our compass, to guide us in what to do. And I'll give two cases. One is on our politics. We have been unfortunate as a country to have bad politics. And you were talking of the Mwananzekis, the Okujus, the Gitaris, and the Kurias there.
Yes.
Yeah. They used to actually tell us, you guys, your politics is bad.
Yes.
They will be the voice of the Mnyonge to tell the powers that be that what you guys are doing is not beneficial to the Mwananchi. Can you correct yourselves? But since about multi-party time, we lost that. And why did we lose it? Because, in my view, the cancer of ethnicity also went into the church.
Okay.
So as a churchman, when I see a politician who's from my tribe, or one who also worships in my church, then I may not criticize. When I see a politician who comes to my church or my religious place and give me money, I won't criticize. And to me, that's a failure of the church.
Bishop, do you have a different opinion?
I would have different opinion from that, because personally I'm a bishop, and we have churches almost all over this country. We have churches in Mount Elgon, chapters. we have in Mumias, we have in Nyeri, Meru, and we have cut across the country. But what I would say, my brother, is that the church is not quiet. The church is as active, even more active, than those days of Muge.
Really?
The only thing we do is that we don't criticize so high negatively. We criticize positively, but in a calm way. And you see, what are news? News is when I woke up and say that our President Uhuru has lost direction. And as a bishop, that will be news. But when I say, can President Uhuru come and pray with us as a church so that we can advise him and pray with him over the matters that is happening in this country, that will not be covered. And whatever is not covered, to other people who actually rely on news, is not news. Now, for an example, there are times the president calls us, especially the heads of the churches in the country. And we go to State House, we talk to him, we pray with him, and we advise them together with the Deputy President Ruto, of which Mama Rachel, actually she is in charge. She has a prayer movement, all right, that prays for this nation day and night. She is in charge of a prayer. The way the First Lady Margaret has a zero Beyond Zero campaign. Mama Rachel has a prayer movement that actually mobilizes people from corners of this country to pray for this nation day and night. And that cannot be noted because it's not seen, it's not covered. But you see, when I come here and speak about it, now it is going to be known. Another thing is that the reason why people think the church is quiet is because of late, since President Kibaki's time, since Gedhu Muigai was Attorney General and up to now, they have started bringing some things to muzzle the church, saying that they need to regulate the church. What I would say is that if you regulate the church, can you regulate a politician? Because calling of a minister of the gospel is just like calling of a politician. Okay. And then a politician will just say, I have a burden for this country. I want people to get this development and wake up and do all that. And they should also be regulated. That is how also calling of a minister of the gospel is. Now, it is only that the government, during the Moi time, the reason why we got the problem, during the Moi time, they were not registering churches unless the NSIS and the big mainstream churches write a letter to the government and say, we have no problem with this particular person opening a church in Kenya, especially led by Bishop Arthur Kitonga, and the church was opening. After Kibaki took over, former Kibaki took over, he allowed each and every deacon Harry to register churches in Kenya. People came, even foreigners, and registered churches in Kenya. And they started coming with all types of religion. People started breaking from the mainstream churches and also having their own branches and teaching a funny doctrine. That is where the problem came in. But how do you regulate? Go back. See how many churches got registered in the wrong way. Put them straight. And everything is going to be okay. Otherwise, the church has not slept. The church is very much awake and alert.
Perhaps on the same, there have been allegations that some politicians and leaders are using looted money to contribute to various churches in the country as a way of money laundering.
Well, that one I cannot say yes or no, because you may not know how some churches are operating when it comes to the issues of financial management and who their members are. For an example, maybe in our church, I may have Job as one of my members, and maybe he's a entrepreneur, and he's a ballon who actually roots. Then he comes, make my life a bit comfortable, and as a bishop, I feel I can make him a treasurer. And when I make him a treasurer, I make him a signatory in the bank. So he will be bringing money as form of church contribution, not knowing that some of the money is actually looted cash. The only thing we need to do is to put down all the monies that are being put in the account. Put it down. This is for the offering, this was for the tithes, and this is for the love offering, or this is for the church contribution, maybe for building and all that. And that one is going to be transparency. But when it comes to that, I may not say yes or no, because it's open.
Ndege.
Yes, I think that's also one aspect in where the church has let down the Mwananchi. We all know that the president has a stated objective of fighting corruption. And amongst the things that the president has said is, let's try to lifestyle audit our people.
Yes.
Unfortunately, if you go to the public service or in the state service, you are a public figure.
Yes.
Yeah? And we all know these public figures. If I am a public service, I'm a public officer, or I'm a state officer, and every other weekend I go into a church, and everybody knows the salaries of everybody. The SRM Commission put the salary of the president, the salary of the MPs, the salary of the governors, and everybody. And these particular individuals go around all our churches dishing huge amounts of money, which for sure cannot be from their salaries. Yeah. If the church was that church of Ndege and Nzeki, if the church was that church of Bishop Gitari, for sure they would have come out and said, sir, there must be something wrong. You cannot be giving 15 million shillings every month in churches, and we know that you are this state officer, or you are that public officer, and this is your salary.
Okay.
Please tell us.
As we wind up, the handshake, so many people are still reeling. In the beginning, the former premier, Raila Odinga, people were talking about him being one of the people leading the war against corruption and also correcting the government.
Yes.
But since the handshake, he said that so many people are talking about everything being quiet and everything being as still as cool waters.
Yes, I know it's very difficult being Raila Odinga in this country. When Raila Odinga is opposing a sitting government, and asking for votes, people say, no, why is this guy asking for votes, and he just opposes?
Yes.
Where Odinga now moves and handshakes with President Uhuru, and now he quietly helps President Uhuru with governance, people are asking, why is Raila not opposing? There's nowhere in our constitutional laws that requires Raila Odinga to be opposing government. In fact, since the Constitution 2010, there's no opposition leader. None at all. The people who are charged with the responsibility of checking the government is the legislature. All these MPs that we have, who we welcome every other day, are the people who are supposed to be carrying out checks against the government. But we have allowed the MPs to misread the constitution. They are the people who are supposed to be given a civic education. And I blame the media for that as well, because the media keep on calling Raila opposition leader, or Musale opposition leader. No, there's only majority and minority in the constitution. And it's the work of parliament as a whole, both Jubilee MPs and the NASA MPs, to check the executive. And given that they don't do that work, people are still looking for Raila, who has no role in the constitution. There's no role in the constitution for the person who comes second in the presidential election, or third, or fourth.
What I can say is that Raila himself...
30 seconds.
What I can say is that Raila himself, he's an institution in politics of this country.
Okay.
And him being an institution, he has created his name as a champion of the rights of the people. So people look back to him when they feel their things are not working right. Yes. But he himself, when he is on the other side, he does not care about the other one, because he's looking for his retirement. So I would like to tell people out there to know that Raila is working for his legacy, not for any other person's legacy. Okay. So work out your own, avoid corruption. George, the CID director, Kinoti, will come looking for you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We actually pressed for time, but I thank you so much for making time. Well, that's a wrap for Perspective.